You're welcome.
Eric, you want to start this off?
Sure. Everybody grab that blue sheet first. I'll start with that. That's just some notes on the changes we made. Here's an overview to the second draft. In the general fund, all items that were approved from the green sheets are now included in the budget in front of you there in your second draft. All the contributions that were accepted and or changed are now in the second draft as such. The reductions to 51,300, 169 county mayor part-time and 54,110, 718 sheriff's office motor vehicles have been recognized. 54,110, 316 sheriff's department contribution has been removed since it's going directly to E911. The county commission health insurance has been reduced to show it ending October 31st. County commission travel has been increased to $24,000 as asked to go to previous year's levels back in 16-17. The VSO line now reflects deputy instead of secretary. When Mr. Manning was in here, he asked if we could find her something that was more appropriate for a VSO assistant, but via the Tennessee Comptroller Chart of Accounts, you can't label it what you want to label it, so he agreed that that would be more appropriate and more in line with most other people in the courthouse. Switching over to solid waste, your new contract rate for the landfill has been adjusted, as well as the 2020-2021 column. Drug fund is unchanged, other than the year where we're putting in actuals. Highway, updated payroll expense, others still estimates. In the general highway and education debt service, it's unchanged, other than the certified tax rate. In the general capital projects, it reflects that multiple projects have not been completed in this year, and so whatever portion of those have been completed is in the 2021 column. Whatever has not has rolled to the 21-22. Having no effect on fund balance, just reflecting accurately where those revenues and expenditures will land. Referencing your other handouts, so actually first just wanted to touch on that certified tax rate a little more. We did finally get that. We were working on an estimate previously of 2.1573. Our certified tax rate is now 2.1677, and so all funds that have property tax in them have been adjusted in your second draft budget to reflect the same percentage ratio they had in the previous year against the new certified tax rate. So a slight increase there of 0.0104, or in pennies, it's 1.04 pennies. As you previously asked, you wanted whatever decisions that were made in the personnel meeting to go directly into the second draft of the budget. So the county clerk position is budgeted now. Not knowing the insurance package that would be picked by that individual, I estimated middle of the road, employee plus children. Have no idea if that's accurate or not, but didn't want to overestimate it, didn't want to underestimate it, so picked the middle of the road package. Last time we were together, the question was asked about the county mineral severance tax and what that was. So I looked that up on CTAS for you. It says this is a local option tax wherein a county legislative body by resolution adopted by a 2/3 majority vote may levy a tax on all sand, gravel, sandstone, and limestone served from the ground within the county. The county legislative body sets the rate, but the rate cannot exceed 15 cents per ton. Tax authorized under this section may be repealed by a resolution passed by 2/3 majority of the county legislative body. And currently our tax rate is set at the max 15 cents per ton. So I don't know exactly what, I believe it was you, Mr. Berry, who asked that question. I don't know exactly what that gentleman would pull from the ground, but if it is one of those, it would affect that revenue.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I also have a email here that I was asked to read from Mr. Phillips, representing his take on the county commissioner insurance coverage. Let's see here. He says, yes, this was benefit offered to each commissioner and accepted by those who took it. Therefore, it continues to be my opinion that it cannot be taken away arbitrarily until the present term is completed. So I know that we had discussed ending it at the end of the insurance year, which would be October 31st, but it is Mr. Phillips' opinion that it should end coinciding with the next election if that is something that you guys wish to continue to do. Another thing in your packet is the new CTAS salary schedules. I alluded to that last time we were together, that there was an adjustment to the state's budget retroactively, which ended up giving the elected officials a raise. So you now have the new rates there, and those are also reflected in your budget as such. Another thing you had in that packet of information there is the contract from Republic Services, as we mentioned. Mr. Lilly was able to request and negotiate with them a reduction, went down 13.7% down to 10%. So a cost savings of roughly $25,000. Thank you, Mr. Lilly, for negotiating that. You have a copy now of Bulls Gap Fire Department's financials. They did submit those for us. Also, Striggersville did as well, but I did not have time to copy those as they came in yesterday. And as I discussed last time, we did hear from Clinch. They did not have theirs ready yet due to the passing of their treasurer, but they are fully aware of the situation and trying to get that to us as quickly as they can. You have the revised financials from Price Public Community Center. And I would ask that at some point today during the meeting, you give me advisement on what you want in the budget. I've carried them over at last year's rate, which was $1,960. They are asking for an increase. They want $5,000, and we held off on ruling on that one because of the sheets, but now we have new sheets. So at some point today, we do need to make a ruling on what it is we're going to put in the budget for them. Asked to review the cost of a COLA. The cost of a 1.2% COLA for the general fund is $98,871. That includes Social Security retirement and an estimate for workers' comp. The cost of a 1.2% COLA for solid waste would equal $7,095. Again, that is the salary, Social Security retirement, and an estimate on workers' comp. The snapshot that you have shows the fund balance now in the second draft. Estimated to end the 21-22 year at $7.6 million. Revenues being $17.5, expenditures being $19.6, using fund balance of roughly $2 million. Even though some new projects were approved after tweaking the budget a little bit for the second draft, getting more actuals and adjusting revenues and expenditures, really didn't increase our deficit much. So we're not much worse off than last time. Matter of fact, I believe we're a hair better. But $2,034,772 is what we would use at fund balance as the budget stands today if it was unadjusted. Last year's actuals are cleaning up nice. We're looking last time at just under $1 million added to the fund balance for the 2021 fiscal year. Now it is looking more like 1.5. So that gave us a nice bump there.
Eric, just real quick, what was the, in last year's budget, what was the, what did we go into the year estimating to use on fund balance?
Roughly $800,000.
So last year's budget was at an $800,000 deficit.
It was $859,567. You're welcome. And I think that explains everything I handed out to you. That's about all I have for you.
Eric, you may have touched on this, you may have told us, I might have missed it, but how much of that is, money that we have no control over?
What part?
Like, that we have to fund, comes to the state that we have to fund?
Of the $2 million in the future years? I don't have any of that broken out, but there's several things in there that are outside of your control. You know, rising costs of health insurance, outside of your control. Rising costs of computer maintenance agreements, outside of your control. Elected official salaries, outside of your control. I mean, there's several items that are beyond this commission's
outside
control.
our control, I know that.
Yep.
Yeah. I just wondered what the breakdown was between it and what we, on this figure, and what the breakdown was, what we have to fund through the state versus, the increase we may make for the county employees and so forth.
I have no set figures on that, but there's definitely a mix of required things and unrequired.
One other thing, last year our tax rate was set at 253. This 216, is that set in concrete?
No, you can exceed it.
No, I'm not exceeding it.
Oh, okay.
I've done my math, and all I have to go on is what I paid last year. And to get what I paid last year, the tax rate needs to be 211, not 215 or 216. So with that said, that's all I have to go on, and I will not support anything that's over 211.
As we previously discussed, you were right, last year's tax rate was 2.5323.
Yes.
This year we were operating on an estimate. Now we have the certified tax rate. The certified tax rate takes into account the entire county. So when you do yours, I'm sure that's correct figures for you, but that's one household.
That's all I
When they do
have
the
to go
certified
on.
tax rate, they have to figure every household in the county. And so this is the appropriate tax rate to the county to not have a financial windfall from the reassessment. So this is the amount that produces the same amount of revenue last year. Anything less would be a reduction in taxes, anything more would be an increase in taxes.
Well,
That's based on 93%.
93% is what we use to calculate the value of our penny, but this is just the certified tax rate, looking at the reassessment from last year to this year.
and we normally come in at like 97, 97.5, something on tax collections.
96, 97, yeah. Yep, we normally come in strong.
I will not support anything over 211 on the property tax. That's all I have to go on. For me, it's a tax increase. So thank you, Mr. Eric.
You're welcome.
So, Danny, though, to rebuttal that, that's not increasing taxes at all, it's making it equal. And I understand that some people may see an increased property tax while others will see a decrease, but the total income to the county is the same. So, to say that you won't support that is saying that you won't support the same rate that we've been riding on.
I will not support it. All I have to go on is my taxes, and I figured mine, and at $2.11 is what I paid last year. So
What if mine was 209, you want to pay me less? We don't-
that's entirely up to you, how you figure yours. I'm speaking for me. I have mine to live by.
If we change it to 211, how are you gonna pay the budget? I mean, how are we gonna fund what we're doing?
Each penny generates what, 105,000?
throughout the year?
123,000.
And we have 7.6 million in reserve. To me, 216 is a tax increase, Mike.
How's it a tax increase when you're going from 253?
Your assessed value, Commissioner, you assessed.
But we've done a budget that we're gonna have to fund some way, somehow.
Last month, it was 215, correct, Eric?
2.157.
Today, it's 216. I'm not gonna support it.
How do you want to fund the budget then?
That's $7.6 million. You could take.
To use savings, you want to use the savings, fund
No,
balance.
I'm not gonna support a tax increase.
But if we keep taking from the savings, eventually we're gonna be right back where we was 3 years ago, or whatever.
I won't support it.
A 5-cent tax decrease would net roughly $615,000 out of this budget, which would drive our deficit from 2 million to roughly 2.6 million. I'm not a voting member of the committee, but I could not encourage you to do anything to balance out the savings farther than what we already are. Honestly, I think we need to strongly consider looking at the revenues that we control as it is.